Hello, today I will show you how to train crafting with molten glass. I have a charter ship guide which includes the low level method and the super glass make method, and some other information and tips if you want to check that out. So this video will be showing you how to make molten glass without charter ships. This method is farming giant seaweed and collecting or mining sand instead. This requires 23 farming, access to Fossil Island, and it's recommended to have 35 mining to mine sandstone and 77 magic and access to lunar spells. This will require a bit of time and some GP, so if you're in a rush for crafting levels, charters or another crafting method might be better. I have a guide on farming seaweed, but if you don't feel like watching it right now, seaweed grows every 40 minutes. You can collect seaweed spores as they spawn underwater and use ultra compost on them. Now on to collecting sand. One method you can use is buying empty buckets and collecting sand from sand pits. The fastest way to do this is move your house to Yanil with 50 construction. Use your house teleport to end up close to the sand pit. Collect your sand and use whatever closest bank teleport you have. There are several sand pits around the game, but the closest one to a bank is in Prif, which has pretty high requirements. Once you complete the hand in the sand quest, you can collect 84 free buckets of sand from Bert every day. Mining buckets of sand is pretty fast, but requires a bit of GP. To get to sandstone rocks, the fastest teleport is the Camulet from Inakwar's Lament, or traveling to the ruins of Anka and going north. Here you will probably want desert robes and water skin or whatever you have available to fight the desert heat. You can use Varrock armor 2 or higher to increase the amount of sandstone you mine. The size of sandstone you get is random, but your mining level increases your chances of receiving bigger rocks, and these different sizes give different amounts of buckets of sand. If you have a decent mining level in pickaxe, you'll want a spot with 3 rocks. All you do is fill your inventory with sandstone and take it to the sandstone grinder to deposit it, and you can check once in a while to see how many buckets of sand you have stored there. You can store up to 25k buckets of sand at a time. To take out the sand, you need to give empty buckets to Drew, who can hold up to 25k buckets at a time, and withdraw noted buckets of sand for 50 GP each. According to the wiki, with 85 mining and a dragon pickaxe, you can mine over 3k buckets of sand per hour. Now to make it all into molten glass. Giant seaweed gives 6 soda ash instead of 1. You can cook this to make soda ash, which doesn't give XP, and then use the soda ash with sand on a furnace to get molten glass. But with 77 magic and access to lunar spells, you can cast super glass make and do it all at a bank. This method is even UIM friendly because you can note seaweed on the tool leprechaun and your buckets of sand from the sand grinder come noted. For this method you will need air, fire, and astral runes. I'm using an air staff and a tome of fire. Super glass make already gives you 30% more molten glass than making it in a furnace, but giant seaweed gives even more. The ratio of seaweed and sand you withdraw kind of depends on personal preference. One method is using 2 giant seaweed and 12 buckets of sand to get 1.45 molten glass per sand, and it will leave a bit of empty inventory space. 3 giant seaweed and 18 buckets of sand yields an average of 1.6 glass per sand, but sometimes some will overflow and be put on the ground and you'll have to pick it up. You can also use 3 and 18 but not pick up the excess glass, which uses more supplies, but you'll save time not picking up the glass on the ground. Assuming you're using method number 2, which is 3 to 18 and picking up the glass, you'll make over 13k molten glass per hour. Then you can blow it all into the highest level item you can make. With this method you can make light orbs, because normally with charters, since light orbs are untradeable, you'll have to drop them, which takes a lot of time. But with a bank bank, you can just bank them all quickly, and if you want to discard them later, you can easily do that. Now the question is if this method is worth it compared to charters. Charters will always be faster in the long run because the time spent mining sandstone decreases your overall XP per hour with crafting. But if you want some extra mining and farming XP and don't mind mining sandstone, then it is a good option. Sandstone is about the same XP per hour as Motherload Mine, but it's less AFK. If you're tick manipulating, then you can get a lot more XP. So the method you choose really just comes down to personal preference. Even if you do prefer charters, if you have the Elite RD Diary done or plan on ever doing it, I highly recommend farming some giant seaweed. With the Elite Diary, your daily buckets of sand go straight to your bank. I've accumulated a lot just from that. You can also get them as drops from Scorpia and Calphite Queen. Plus giant seaweed has a pretty good pet chance. That's all for this video. I hope this helped. Good luck out there, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.